I promised some people a long time ago that if I ever made it to tier 8, that I would give away the save file for free. And it took a while, but I unlocked it this week, so here you go. Now, it might be a tier 8 save file, but this is not a mega factory save. And it won't teach you anything about efficiency. It might even make you dumber. If you don't care about that, though, let me show you around. This factory here is not my oldest or my biggest, but I kind of think of it as the flagship. It's always been since I've had it, it's always been the one where the last pieces always get put into place, and the anchor man and the relay, where the final products get made here, ready for space elevator. It's tidy upstairs, but like some of my other factories, if you look in the basement, I mean, it's a wreck. It's funny how I can obsess so much over certain details, and then, I just let this go. There's even wrecks down here. I mean, you can't remove it. There used to be spiders, too. It was while I was making this this building when I discovered that we'd eventually get, I found out we'd get statues at some point. I thought that was a really cool way to give like an achievement, a three-dimensional in-game statue that you can actually place in your factories. And so I made this reception area, and I made it pretty tall, assuming that the statues would be also pretty tall. So when I finally got it and flit it down, it looks a little sad. You gotta be kidding me. I mean, I've gotten used to it, but it was a little underwhelming at first. Okay, that one might be the flagship factory, but it's not my favorite. My favorite's a little ways out behind this one. I love driving these weird little carts. For a long time, I didn't even have one. I didn't see the point. I didn't even have roads. I wasn't using trucks, so I didn't see the point. But now I'm using trucks, and I love them. And man, this little cart. I realize probably the smartest way to make roads is to make them elevated and so they can go straight and over the top of the weird terrain, but I kind of like to keep mine on the ground and force them to snake through the canyons. And okay, this next one, oops. This next one's bigger. It makes AI limiters and screws. Lots and lots of screws. In fact, this weird design kind of started with screws, in a way. When I found out how many screws we actually needed, massive amounts, I just wanted to throw down and make a building that looks like it was making so many screws it couldn't even hold them all. They were like spilling out. I made these like screw waterfalls or screw falls. Here's another example of a space that I was getting all ready for a big statue. I think it looks fine. There's the inside of these those screw falls. I wanted to show you my pet lizard doggo, Alan, but he's gotten out or something. He's disappeared. Last time I saw him, he had reindeer antlers on. Anyway, on to the next one. I picked the desert as my starting place for this one, pretty much at random, but I really like this biome, and I haven't really built anything outside of it. Now, this is my very first factory There's really nothing special about it except that it was my first. I do like that little access tunnel down there, and I don't know, it's pretty bland, but we've been through a lot of early tiers together, so I've got a soft spot for it. Anyway, I want to show you this one on the right here, but I want to go around it and come in on the other side. Oh no, actually, there's this foundry right here that's actually kind of a new addition. I forgot about this. It only does one thing. It smelts iron ore and iron ingots for that building that we just passed. It just makes ingots, but there's a weird little self-contained concrete making facility in the backyard. But like all the other ones, this one's tiny. Let me show you that. There's only, when I say, whoa, yeah. I mean, this is the whole thing. Just two rows of smelters. Anyway, I'm not kidding, they're small. But moving on. This next one, though, is my second oldest. It's one of the original quad buildings, and I positioned it so that it would be perfectly aligned with the space elevator. I feel like everything has to be organized around the space elevator, and I wanted this one. You can see it through the window there, looming. So when this was my last stop before the space elevator button push, it was nice to be able to run straight across. Whoa! When Update 5 gave us the ability to start clipping into stuff with more control, one of my first projects was to make a grander spot for the elevator button, because it's such a huge deal when you get to press it. Okay, that sound, that conk, that head against the glass sound, I love that. That's the best sound in the game. Conk. Alright, getting back on the tour. Oh, isn't this cool? I love how sometimes you clip into sand just the right way and it looks exactly like the sand that was blown onto the street. It's cool. Man, these things are hard to drive. I love them though. I think this next one might look more like a casino or Broadway theater than a factory, but in my defense, this little tiny concrete outpost was it's kind of a Update 5 sketch pad where I could just try out different things with new beams and whatnot. Those Broadway light looking things are just signs with snowballs on them. Just crank the brightness up. Getting these lights to go upward is kind of a pain. I didn't think it was possible. I don't watch many YouTube videos, but I did get a tip on that one from somebody. I'll give a link to their video in the description. This one here started out life as a pure screw factory, but it makes some other stuff now. I think it's still mainly screws. I like there's a lot of graphics that tile really nicely to make little patterns. I hope we get more of those monochrome ones. Yeah, that's that one. Okay, this next one's really tall, at least by my standards, because it's in an awkward spot. I found quartz in an awkward spot, and there's nowhere to spread out, so I just went vertical with this one. This is actually kind of steep. The little robot tractors don't seem to have any trouble with it, but all these plants and rocks and things you can't get rid of made it really hard. I put the whole building up on stilts, made like a park. Curious how other people might have built down here if anyone tried it. This is a tall boy, so I gave it a spiral ramp for going up and down, but there's a lot of floors. I guess most people probably would have used a hyper tube, right? I don't know why, I just don't really like those things. Oh yeah, there's a dance floor at the top. Shut up. I guess, I mean, that's most of the main stuff. Do you want to see the coal plants? Coal's pretty boring. But, oh, actually, there's a place over here. You know that there's a cave with a waterfall in it, and the textures in there look really muddy and kind of gross, and I thought it was too bad. But then I lit it up, and man, what a difference. I might start using those floodlights out in the wild. Anyway, coal. There's some coal. Hasn't really changed much. Boring. Oh wait, I forgot one. Aluminum. This is my weirdest one by far because this is the aluminum plant, and the resource was way up on that land bridge, and I wanted the factory to be underneath it, and it has to be kind of tucked in underneath caves and land bridges, but it also has to reach way up to the top of the land bridge to get the stuff. I don't know if I like it, but I like this. I noticed that there's a spider cave that's kind of been tunneled for him, and so the empty containers this thing makes are shipped underground. The tunnel comes up underneath that main flagship building where all that spaghetti was. Anyway, one last stop. Man, the lighting in this game is just a knockout, isn't it? It's not really much of a design here. It's just, trying to be organized about things. But it's only for show, really. Underneath these roads, all those areas under the roads are a mess. When I made this thing, I didn't yet know anything about fluid dynamics, and it really needs to be gutted. It looks fine, it's just that all the stuff you can't see, it's got to be redone for another day. And from back here, it's starting to look like a little village, isn't it? Population 1. But that's it. That's the desert campus tour. The download link's in the description, and if you do download it and walk around or drive around, let me know what you think.